After a heated argument, my in-laws decided I no longer existed. No calls, no texts, even my husband played along. When I asked him why, he shrugged, "They'll come around." Instead, I booked a one-way flight. When they finally noticed I was gone, it was too late. I gave my in-laws 6 years of my life. 6 years of biting my tongue, playing nice, and putting up with their passive-aggressive jabs. 6 years of remembering their birthdays, sending gifts, and hosting them in my home even when they barely acknowledged my existence. And then, just like that, they decided I was no longer part of the family. No texts. No calls. Not even a half-assed holiday card. The worst part? My husband went along with it. It happened on a random Friday night. Ryan, my husband, and I met his parents for dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in downtown Nashville. It was supposed to be a nice evening, but I should have known better. His dad, Alan, had a habit of running his mouth, especially after a few drinks. Somewhere between the appetizers and the main course, he launched into his usual boomer rant about how soft men have become and how a woman's place is with her children. I looked at Ryan. He said nothing. So, I laughed. "Well," I said, swirling my wine glass, "if you'd like to pay all our bills, I'd be happy to stay home." Silence. Alan set down his fork. His face turned red. His mom, Patricia, sighed like I had just embarrassed the entire family. "You're so damn disrespectful," Alan growled. "You don't appreciate what this family does for you." I blinked. "What exactly have you done for me?" Ryan grabbed my thigh under the table. "A warning." "Shut up." I yanked my leg away. I was done playing nice. "You live in our house," Alan continued, ignoring my question. "You should show some gratitude." "Our house?" "Ryan and I bought our home together. With our money." Alan hadn't contributed a dime. But in his mind, because Ryan was his son, it was his legacy. And I was just there. A placeholder. I dropped my napkin on my plate and stood up. "If you don't want me here, that's fine." I walked out of the restaurant. Ryan didn't follow. At first, I thought they'd cool off. Maybe Alan would call a few days later and give me some half-assed apology like, "You know how I am," or some other excuse. But instead? Silence. No calls. No texts. Nothing. And Ryan? He played along. I tested it. I didn't text his sister Maddie on her birthday. No response. I didn't send a card when his cousin had a baby. No acknowledgement. I didn't RSVP to his uncle's wedding. Nothing. They had officially erased me from the family. After 2 weeks of silence, I finally asked Ryan, "Did your parents say anything about me?" He didn't even look up from his phone. No. He shrugged. "They'll come around." That was it. That was his response. Like this was a game. Like I was overreacting. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, feeling like a guest in my own home. My in-laws had cut me off. And Ryan let them. So, I made a decision. The next morning, I stopped trying. I stopped texting first. I stopped pretending to be okay. I didn't remind Ryan to call his mom on her birthday. I didn't buy Christmas gifts for his family. I didn't ask how Maddie's new job was going. I became as invisible to them as they were to me. And guess what? Ryan didn't notice. It wasn't until one night, when I got home late from work, that he finally said something. He was standing in the kitchen, eating a microwaved gas station burrito, looking genuinely confused. "Did you forget to cook?" I dropped my bag by the door and stared at him. "No," I said. "I just figured, since I don't exist, my cooking shouldn't either." He laughed. "You're still mad about my parents?" "Still mad?" I didn't even respond. I just walked into our bedroom and locked the door. The next morning, I made a few important phone calls. First, a lawyer. Not for a divorce, not yet, but just to make sure my finances were in order. Second, a recruiter. I had a remote marketing job, but I started looking for better offers somewhere far from Tennessee. Third, a real estate agent. By the end of the week, I had a one-way ticket to Seattle and a lease for a townhouse in Fremont. Ryan didn't notice a thing. 2 weeks later, I was packed and ready to go. When Ryan got home that night, I was standing in the kitchen with 3 suitcases and a folder of legal documents. He frowned. "What's all this?" "I'm leaving." His face twisted in confusion. Leaving for what? Seattle. For how long? I tilted my head. Indefinitely. He actually laughed, like I was joking. You're being dramatic. I picked up my suitcase and walked to the door. He didn't follow. It took 2 weeks before Ryan finally called. By then, I was sitting in my new townhouse, sipping coffee on my balcony, watching the rain. His voice was strained. Are you seriously doing this? I took a slow sip of my coffee. I thought you said they'd come around. Silence. I didn't think you'd actually leave. Well, I said. You didn't think about me at all, did you? Another silence. Then, just come home. Home? I had no home there. Just a house full of people who didn't see me. And just like that, my phone started blowing up. First, his mom's email. You're breaking up this family. How could you do this to Ryan? Then, a text from his dad. This is childish. Come back and fix this. Oh, now I existed? I sent one reply to his mother. If you truly cared, you would have reached out before I left. Then I blocked them all. I should have known they wouldn't let me go quietly. For a moment, I thought I had one. I thought I had escaped. But I underestimated them. It started with the emails. Then, the phone calls. And then, when I didn't respond, they sent Ryan. It was a Sunday afternoon. I had just finished setting up my new place, a small townhouse in Fremont, with a view of the water. My new life felt peaceful, like I could finally breathe. Then someone knocked on my door. Hard. Not a friendly, hey, I'm here to visit kind of knock. More like open this damn door, or I'll break it down. I looked through the peephole. Ryan. I sighed and opened the door. What are you doing here? His eyes were wild. Like he hadn't slept in days. His clothes were wrinkled, his jaw unshaven. He didn't even say hello. You blocked my number? I crossed my arms. Yes. He let out a humorless laugh. And you just moved? Without telling me? I did tell you. You just didn't listen. He stepped inside without asking. Walked right past me. You're really doing this, he muttered, looking around. His eyes landed on the boxes I hadn't unpacked yet. You really think this is your life now? I know it is. He turned to face me, his hands clenched into fists. And that's when I saw it. The anger. Not sadness. Not regret. Just rage. You're a selfish bitch, you know that? I felt my stomach drop. Because Ryan had never spoken to me like that before. And suddenly, I realized something. This isn't about love. It never was. This was about control. You need to come home, he said. I laughed. Why would I do that? Because you're my wife. I raised an eyebrow. And? And you don't just leave your husband like this. I stared at him, waiting. Waiting for him to say something, anything, that wasn't about his feelings. But he just stood there, his breathing heavy, his hands clenched at his sides. I took a step closer. Ryan, I said quietly. You never asked me why I left. Silence. You never asked if I was happy. You never asked what you did wrong. More silence. He blinked. Opened his mouth. Closed it. Because deep down, he knew the answer. I did everything right, he finally muttered. And that's when I saw it. The truth. Ryan thought he was a good husband because he never cheated. Because he worked a steady job. Because he didn't hit me. But he never chose me. And now, he couldn't understand why I didn't want to choose him either. You know, Ryan said, rubbing his jaw. My dad said you'd do this. I froze. What? He told me you'd pull some crazy feminist stunt one day. That you'd leave. I felt cold all over. Oh, and get this, Ryan continued, smirking now. He told me not to worry. That you'd come crawling back once you realized you couldn't handle the real world alone. I sucked in a slow breath. There it was. The real reason he came. Not for me. Not for our marriage. For his ego. For his father's approval. Alan had told him to wait it out. That I'd fail. That I'd come crawling back, humiliated. And Ryan? He wanted to watch it happen. I clenched my jaw. You need to leave. He shook his head. You're making a mistake. No, Ryan. I stepped forward, looking him dead in the eye. The mistake was ever believing you gave a damn about me. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he did the one thing I wasn't expecting. He smirked. And then he said, you should check your bank account. After Ryan left, I grabbed my laptop and logged into my bank. And that's when I saw it. Every shared account was empty. The savings. The emergency fund. Even the joint checking. He had drained everything. All that was left was the money in my personal account, which, thankfully, I had moved weeks ago. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the pending transaction. A wire transfer to Alan's account. For almost $40,000. My money. Gone. I sat there, staring at the screen, my heart pounding. I could feel the rage building inside me. He thought he could ruin me. He thought I would come crawling back. He thought I needed him. He was so sure I would fail. But Ryan forgot one thing. I was invisible to him for years. And now? That meant he had no idea what I was truly capable of. Ryan thought he won. I stared at the nearly empty bank account on my screen, my pulse pounding in my ears. $40,000. Gone. Transferred straight into Alan's account. He actually did it. He actually thought he could drain me dry and walk away. And for a second, I almost let the panic take over. But then I realized something. Ryan didn't know everything. And that? That was his mistake. I grabbed my phone and dialed the number I never thought I'd use. My lawyer. Hey, it's me, I said. We have a problem. And just like that, the real fight began. Here's what Ryan didn't know. Before I left, I had already moved my half of the money into my personal account. That $40,000? It was all his. His savings. His emergency fund. His rent money. He stole from himself. I sat back, watching my lawyer's email go out to Ryan and Alan in real time. Subject line, immediate legal action, unauthorized transaction. The body of the email was cold and professional. It explained how Ryan had fraudulently transferred funds without my consent, how I had already spoken to the bank, and how, if the money wasn't returned within 24 hours, we'd escalate to legal action. And the best part? Ryan was about to learn the hard way that Alan wasn't as loyal as he thought. Less than an hour later, my lawyer forwarded me a response. It wasn't from Ryan. It was from Alan. That money was given to me as a gift. If Ryan made a mistake, that's on him. I won't be returning a cent. I laughed out loud. Ryan was screwed. Alan took every penny and threw his own son under the bus. I texted Ryan. Me, your dad just stole from you. Hope it was worth it. No response. Not for 2 days. Then? He showed up again. It was raining hard that night. I was asleep when I heard it. Bang. 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 I sat up, heart pounding. Bang. 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 I grabbed my phone. Checked my doorbell camera. Ryan. Soaking wet. I almost ignored him. Almost. But then I saw his face. And I knew. He had nothing left. I opened the door just enough to look at him. He looked wild, like he hadn't slept or eaten in days. You need to go, I said. I don't have anywhere to go, he muttered. I leaned against the doorframe. Not my problem. His hands shook. His jaw tensed. My dad won't answer my calls, he admitted. The bank said I can't dispute the transfer because I sent it willingly. And now my landlord is threatening to evict me. I crossed my arms. And what do you want me to do about it? His eyes snapped to mine. You could fix this, he said. I laughed. Fix this? I repeated. You tried to steal from me, Ryan. Why the hell would I help you? His face twisted. You're my wife. I let out a slow breath. Not for long. And then, just to twist the knife, I said, oh, by the way, tell your dad I'll see him in court. Because what Ryan didn't know was that I had one last card to play. Before I left Tennessee, I did something Ryan never noticed. I had recorded every conversation with Alan where he called me a liability, a mistake, not really part of the family. I had emails from Patricia saying women shouldn't have separate bank accounts. I had texts from Maddie, calling me crazy and a gold digger, even though I had paid for half of everything in my marriage. And I had one big piece of evidence, a voicemail from Alan, saying, "Don't worry about the money, son. If she fights back, we'll make sure she walks away with nothing." Ryan had no idea I had proof. And when my lawyer sent that final email, including the recording, Alan was suddenly very eager to settle. Ryan thought I was bluffing. Alan thought his money and his connections would protect him. They both thought I was the weak one. But now? Everything was about to come crashing down. And I would be the one lighting the match. I was sitting on my couch, sipping my coffee, when my lawyer called. "We have a settlement meeting," he said. I leaned forward. "With who?" "Ryan. Alan. Their attorney. They're offering a deal." I smiled. Because I knew exactly what that meant. Alan was panicking. He must have realized that the voicemail, his own words, was enough to burn him in court. Maybe his business partners found out. Maybe Ryan had finally figured out he'd been played. Didn't matter. They wanted a way out. So I gave them one. I agreed to meet. But on my terms. We met at a law firm downtown, in a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Alan sat at the head of the table, arms crossed, looking like he had just swallowed a lemon. Ryan sat beside him, looking hollow. Like he wasn't sure if he should be angry, embarrassed, or terrified. I took my seat across from them, my lawyer beside me. Alan's lawyer, a slick-looking man in a navy suit, cleared his throat. "My clients," he began, "are prepared to offer a financial settlement in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement. They acknowledge the previous transfer of funds was, perhaps, handled poorly, and they are willing to return a portion of the amount." I raised a hand. "A portion?" I repeated. Alan spoke for the first time. His voice was tight with barely controlled rage. "You're not getting all of it." I tilted my head. "Oh. You're not entitled to it," he sneered. "You walked out on my son. You abandoned your marriage. Why the hell should we pay you anything?" I let out a slow breath. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. "Because," I said, sliding it across the table, "if you don't, I release these." Alan's lawyer opened the folder. Inside were printouts of emails, text messages, and transcripts of every disgusting thing Alan had ever said about me. Ryan stiffened when he saw his own messages. The ones where he mocked me to his dad, saying she'll never leave, she's too emotional. The ones where he let Alan call me a waste of a wife. The ones where they joked about how easy it would be to ruin me if I ever fought back. Alan's lawyer's face went pale. "You recorded these?" he asked, flipping through the pages. Alan slammed the folder shut. "You wouldn't dare." I smiled. "Try me." Ryan finally spoke. "You planned this," he muttered, shaking his head. "This whole time. You planned this." I turned to him. "You really think I wanted this? You left me." I clenched my jaw. "No, Ryan. You let me leave." Silence. His eyes darted to Alan, then back to me. And for the first time, I saw it. Doubt. He was finally realizing it. How his father had used him. How Alan had never cared about him, only about control. Ryan swallowed. "You want to destroy my family." "No," I said, standing up. "Your family destroyed itself." I grabbed my bag. "Now, you can either sign the agreement and give me what I'm owed, or you can watch me drag your entire family through the mud." Alan glared at me. But he knew he had lost. They signed. I got every penny back. Plus, a lump sum for damages, in exchange for not releasing the evidence publicly. Ryan left the firm without saying a word to me. He didn't even look back. Alan? Well, Alan had bigger problems. Because 2 days later, his company fired him after someone leaked those messages anyway. Not me. But someone. Maybe Maddie. Maybe one of Alan's friends. Maybe karma. Either way, he lost his job, his reputation, and his power. Ryan? He tried calling me once. Left a voicemail. I don't know what to do anymore. I never called back. I spent 6 years trying to earn my place in that family. Turns out, the best thing I ever did was walk away. Because now, I exist on my own terms. And they don't exist to me at all.